Good morning, Alasdair.
Good morning.
Perhaps if we start off just a brief introduction to you and, of course, Aquis Exchange.
Right, well, I'm the Chief Executive Officer of a new business that we're setting up, which is Aquis Exchange Limited. We hope to launch a new cash equities trading platform. The real principle behind it is that at my time at Chi-X when running the MTF, I never really quite understood why exchanges charge more for, say, trading Glaxo than they would if they're trading Vodafone, simply because the share price is higher because they charge on an ad valorem basis. And what we want to do is move the business much more to the telecoms industry. We believe that exchanges really are telecoms businesses, and therefore we're going to introduce subscription pricing. If you look at your mobile phone today, you get sort of unlimited texts on a package, you get so many calls per minute, you get so much data you can download. And we want to charge on sort of message traffic and the number of ports, not really concerned about the value of the underlying asset, which is much more like what an exchange's costs truly are. And we think that will change the industry really on its head, because that gives people the all-you-can-eat model, which allows the industry to grow. And that's really what we want to see happening now.
So this is something that no one's actually tried before?
I think, in a few industries, I mean, other industries have tried this a lot.
Well, yes,
in the financial services industry, I believe it's, exchanges are utilities, and yet we tend to have commercial pricing. I think there are one or two examples in sort of far foreign places that have tried this, but I think this needs to be done on a European basis.
Now, obviously you are one of quite a few exchange venues and new types of trading venues that are popping up all over the place. Why now? Why is it so big right now, and almost a trend for people to break away from the big exchanges they've been with and set up shop on their own?
Well, I think the purpose behind MiFID, when it was introduced 5 years ago, was to introduce competition in financial services. And I'm not convinced we've actually seen that. We've seen huge benefits of MiFID. Narrower spreads, I think greater liquidity, we've seen interoperability come, we've seen lowering of costs, transaction costs are lower, so there are lots of benefits. However, when you look around Europe, you look in the UK, 94% of all business is done by two companies. Look in Germany, 94% of business done in two companies. In Switzerland, 95% of business is done in two companies. So the National Exchange and BATS Chi-X Europe, because of the mergers and acquisitions that have taken place in this industry, is really now forming a duopoly. And I'm not certain that a duopoly is much better than a monopoly. Therefore, what needs to happen is you need more competition. And that is why companies like us are coming to the industry right now.
Do you think then things like MiFID 2 and everything, all the other regulations that are coming in are actually going to help with that? I know EMIR is going to cause a lot of fragmentation as well.
Well, I think what must happen with MiFID 2 is it cannot stop the principles of what MiFID 1 started, which is really about creating greater competition. And I think that, we get a lot of criticism about MiFID 2 or MiFIR or EMIR, but actually, MiFID has been good for the industry, certainly for the equity space. Most of MiFID 2 is about products, asset classes outside of equities. And the things that are occurring in equities, I think they'll help new companies. Where you see change, you always see opportunity.
Do you think as well, thinking more long term, this is going to be actually cyclical? That we're going to see a huge amount of fragmentation now, loads more people setting up. Slowly but surely the mergers and acquisitions cycle will start again, and before long we'll find ourselves back in a duopoly.
I think that is the business cycle. I hope we never end ourselves back in a duopoly again, but I think you'll find new people coming in with innovative ideas. We think subscription pricing is a very innovative idea, and there are lots of new order types that we want to bring in. So you don't want to stifle innovation. Are we going to see masses of new people coming in here? Probably not, but you are going to see a handful. And at the end of the day, looking at Europe, you can probably get 3 or 4 businesses, the national market and 2 or 3 others actually surviving here. So that's what we're looking for.
Now, obviously, as well as speaking to us now, you were speaking on a panel, a very heated panel, first one of the day, fantastic way to keep people awake. As you rightly pointed out, no one fell asleep, no one died. But anyway, I'd be interested to know your opinion, because one of the big topics that came up was, of course, the consolidated tape. And as someone who started with one of the big player exchanges and now moving to one of the new blood, where do you sit on the debate?
Well, I think I haven't changed at all. I mean, when I was running Chi-X, exactly the same thing. We had a very, very strong opinion about data. Data is incorrectly priced. It's not about the quality of a tape I think that was made very clear by a number of the panelists. It's not about the quality, it's about price. And it's as simple as that. The price of data in Europe is over 10 times more than what it is in the United States. There are more venues in the United States. It's not about how you do it, it's simply about the fact that, in effect, the data that is owned and run by a national exchange, they are allowed today to price more or less what they like. And if I were running a national exchange, unless I was forced to change that, I can see no reason why anybody would. I think the issue now is that, and sadly this is probably not going to happen for a number of years, but in the end I think the Commission will have to mandate the market and tell the market that it needs to lower price. And actually the regulator in this case probably will end up regulating price as well. The CTA in the US has not been a bad thing for the industry, and I think we need to see that over here in Europe.
And do you think that, to some degree, that the fact they're calling for a consolidated tape is almost like an overblown way of really saying what we need are better controls, better standards, more than anything else? And as you rightly said, to be able to provide those standards at an affordable price, rather than saying you have to provide exactly this, rather this is the minimum requirement that we expect. And this is the most you can charge for the requirement.
I agree, and I think everybody agrees in the market that you should have standards. So that without a doubt, standards need to be set so that we actually get harmonization and a set rule, standard, exact, absolutely identical product for people to look at. That is important. But at the end of the day, you can set standards. They could be doing that right now. Yeah. At the end of the day, you have to get the price lower. And turkeys don't vote for Christmas. So there's absolutely no reason why an exchange today, unless it's told that it has to do something, will do something. These projects that are going on, the COBRA project, other things, FPL, they're great projects. They should be listened to by the market. But I keep on going back to the point, if the national exchange doesn't have to change its price, why should it?
So I suppose it's a call to the regulators then.
It is a call to the regulator, and hopefully today, as one saw in the heated arguments, the regulator will have at least got some of that message. Fantastic.
Well, thank you very much for speaking with us. Genuinely, really interesting stuff. If people do, of course, want to find out more about Aquis, where can they go?
They can certainly give me a call. They've got my email address there. I've given a lot of my business cards out, but ahaynes@aquis.eu, certainly send us a message.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much indeed.
Cheers.